Hi, everyone, and welcome to this edition of AgileDad University. My name is Lee Henson, president and founder of AgileDad, and I am proud to have with me one of my favorite AgileDad alumnus. He's been in my Certified Scrum Product Owner and Certified Scrum Master classes. This guy is known as the Agile Financial. He knows his stuff inside out when it comes to Agile. His name's Bill Washinski. Bill, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Lee.
Excellent. So one more thing about you, I know you're passionate about project management, but I also understand that you're a former basketball coach and, you have, tell us more about your tie-in with physical fitness and it being a prerequisite to mental fitness. And how does this all play together? And what do you want to share with us today?
Well, Lee, what I want to talk about is how when I say project management, we're talking about frameworks and a process. And when I coached, you don't get to coach around the talent you have instead of trying to make them fit a system. That's why you don't try and make every single piece and part go into it. You take the best parts. And what's Scrum is a framework. I believe the physical fitness is a prerequisite to mental fitness. First thing I do every morning is I get up and I do some kind of physical activity and get the blood flowing. When that gets out of that habit, there's a difference in who I am. So making sure that I keep that up makes me come across, always felt it, more confident, posture better, communication better, everything better. And people actually look at you, as Tony Robbins will say, it's directly from Tony Robbins, by the way. Maybe you're on the quote, is style trumps substance at the beginning every time, but substance trumps style over the long haul.
Absolutely.
So
it's
that great impression.
It's just piecing it together, like you said, getting the best impression and putting your best foot forward and tying that into project management is something that's really interesting to me. Because I'll tell you now, I've been on a journey, and my journey has been quite interesting when it comes to physical fitness. I played Division I college football, and I've been in the best physical condition of my life, and I've also been in the worst physical condition of my life. And I've seen exactly what you described, where your mental fitness kind of ties in. But I want to learn more. I want to learn more about what steps do you take? I mean, you talked about the preparation for the journey. You talked about the journey itself a little bit. Just tell me some more. Give me some more insight, because I think this is something that many of our viewers could find interesting.
Okay. Well, let me go back and tell a little, frame it up. That when I graduated from high school, nobody ever believes this ever. But I was at my height of 6'3", and I was a very, very skinny 150 pounds. And I mean, you could put arm touch and you could touch finger to finger. And I went in the gym and started to work out. And I look back and I listened to how your classes were. The first guy who started training me was doing it in a very agile sprint-like way, looking at it week by week or every 2 weeks and then kind of reevaluating it. And I did not conceive of that, of course, at the time, never, but it came to me more recently. But as time went on, and one of the big things I'd like to talk about with this is looking at a sprint versus a milestone. And I think we got discussing with that before. As I started really getting into working out and started building up some muscle mass and not looking like that skinny guy, I was really focused on what's the traditional benchmarks in the gym, the 225 bench press, which is what an NFL player usually gets. They track how many you can do at the combine. Okay. Your 400-pound squat, you know this, your deadlift, all these things. I want to hit these numbers. And if you're stuck thinking about trying to hit this milestone of this 225-pound bench press, I wanted it so bad. I spent years working on that, not realizing that my shoulders and triceps actually dominated my chest, or were more powerful than the chest. So when I did that, it was all shoulders and triceps. So bench press, I spent years trying to make it strong, and yet it did not work because my shoulders did most of the work. I had to readjust it finally. Ultimately, now my shoulders are grow like mad, like wildfire. Triceps are grow like wildfire, but you're so focused on a milestone that you want to hit, not realizing, wait a minute, if you don't do a little retrospective here and look at it, kind of come back, hey, this is where your strength is, put on a shirt, you could look really good like that, and nobody cares about your chest. But I had to readjust and do different exercises for chest workout. And after the kind of fast forwarding here, after spending years trying to do that, having injuries, elbow injuries and whatnot, readjusting it. The recent lockdown, the gym got closed, and I got myself a little bit to the point of wearing sweatpants every day and doing my daily duties and the routine. I didn't realize I was gaining weight to the point I couldn't put my shorts back on, and they was all very tight. So I'm like, okay, the gym opens up, and I go in there, and yeah, just like you, I've went through periods of not being in shape and being in great shape. I was definitely not in great shape, so I thought, okay, let's try this from a different perspective. I've always thought, let's hit these goals, let's hit these milestones. No, I thought, let's reevaluate every 2 weeks. We'll start off with the first part was just getting in there, doing a specific amount of time on the treadmill, a specific amount of time on one set of workout. I asked myself, what am I going to do today? What did I do yesterday? And what is in the way? I did it, and it's funny, it made me more accountable, by the way. And as I got through there, I looked at the first 2 weeks and thought, okay, now what's my backlog here? What's in my, what's in my sprint backlog? What's in my product backlog? As far as, okay, looking at it, throw software development out. But the overall goal, what's my overall user story? Is like, okay, I'm a guy who wants to get back, who wants to get in shape, who,
It sounds like to me, Bill, it sounds like you're trying to apply grow here, which I just want to make sure I point out, right? So it sounds like what you were trying to do is saying, what's my goal? Well, my goal is I want to apply Agile to help myself get back into shape. What's the reality? Well, I'm out of shape and I have some work to do. And you were looking at the backlog as a way to create opportunities or options that you had. And you were trying to do this while suppressing injury, but still having the ability to do these things. And what I find really most interesting, and I don't know if you saw, but the hair on my arms is totally standing up. When you're able to take something so practical, like working out and getting in better physical condition so that you can be prepared mentally, it certainly ties back to Agile in a way that that's never resonated with me before. I've never thought of it that way. So I want you to tell me more about your backlog now. So you said you were creating a backlog. So what kind of things did you incrementally get on the backlog, or what kind of things did you discover as you went that helped you firm up your acceptance criteria, if you will, so that you could keep going down this path?
Well, your user stories are also fixing bad things that happen. Okay. As you mentioned, injuries there that could happen. I remember tweaking my back, so I'm like, okay, we got to change this up a little bit. But again, I'm gonna reference Tony Robbins. One of my favorites is once you start something, it's hard to start. When you get involved into it, you're really going. Pushing is then you get pulled to it. And it's much easier once you're in that rhythm. Then the diet started to get better. Okay, so I brought in a new thing in there. Started to diet more. I eat better. Making chicken breasts for the week. Just going to either bake them or go out to the grill and just making them for the week. So diet started to come in the next sprint. In a little bit incrementally, because it took away some of the junk food. You're feeling better, so hey, wait a minute, I need to eat some more protein shakes. You start and then pull that in. So those kind of went into the next step. And then part of I thought the cardio wasn't working, and I was struggling with the cardio. I came up with an idea, just because I live in a 15-story condo building. I've been walking the steps, up and down the steps, or up the steps at least. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it's been like, holy cow, I'm like heaving for breath. But started it with that one, way up 15 flights and the elevator back down. Now I got up to 4, and I can actually feel how much better, and that's been incremental. So make it a goal to do for 1 week. So thinking about it from a sprint point of view, instead of trying to, you go on a vacation, you got a vacation coming out. You always heard somebody say, hey, I want to be able to fit into this bikini or this outfit. It's I want to drop 20 pounds. You hate estimating. People are terrible at estimating. Would you not agree? How often do you actually hit that mark? You don't. You're horrible at it. But if you're evaluating it every week and doing it in a sprint, and then that retrospective, and you replan again, you go to your own sprint planning meeting in your own head, and you talk about what it's going to be in your backlog for this week. So, all right, this week for the gym, I want to do X, X, and X. You know, I've just got to the point where I'm doing 3 exercises. For body part, especially the bigger ones. You know, for back or legs or whatnot, where it was only at 2. So actually kind of planning that out, you know, that and what, so what do I do? What did I do yesterday? Oh, you know what? I did chest. That's not a good thing to follow up with the tricep. So you mix it up with the back or legs, you know, then you have to plan your day off. So it's been, you know, you have your backlog, then you say, okay, what's the next steps I'm going to be putting in here? And then you're finding, you get, after every end of every sprint, you're finding you've got a product that you're looking at and you're liking better. You're seeing the waistline coming down. You're seeing the muscle looking better. So you want to get to another picture and like, okay, then you notice it in your own voice and your own demeanor.
I'm going to say it must be so rewarding to be able to see the transition and to be able to see the change. You know, it's a lot of people talk about coaching and they talk about from a physical fitness coaching perspective, but when you can tie it back, you know, the question that I asked myself when you were telling that story just now is what would have happened if you would have followed a more traditional project plan and you would have said, I'm going to climb the 15 stories. And you would have tried on day 1 to climb all 15 stories to discover that when you got to story 2, that you were just so gassed and so out of breath that you needed an oxygen tank to get to the elevator. You know, it wouldn't have been as beneficial for you, but it also would have done something else. And I think this is something that a lot of people don't focus on, Bill. It would have made you feel like you failed, when in actuality, what you did was you incrementally improved. And I think that that's something that a lot of people don't take into consideration. And when they think about Agile, they try to think about it holistically. And they think that if they're not doing one piece of it, that they're failing and that Agile is failing, when actually, you know, it was never intended to be that way. It was intended to be more incremental. It was intended to be, you know, line upon line, step upon step. It was never designed to be a one-size-fits-all solution. And this is the one, you know, this is the one thing that I discovered when you were in my class and we had this conversation. And I told you that I saw when a light bulb clicked. I saw when something came on. I saw something very powerful in you. And it was just something that let me know that this resonated with you in what you were currently working on the things that you were currently doing. It was like, it made sense. It became logical. The same as for you working out, you have certain patterns and certain things that you do, and you know that these are tried and true methods. And you've even referenced Tony Robbins, an amazing public speaker. You've referenced him a few times. And I think that sometimes we don't have the right tools in our arsenal. You know, you also mentioned, you know, working out using, you know, different exercises for each muscle group. Maybe that involves using different types of weights, dumbbells, barbells, whole bars, you know, even some machines from time to time, just to get different stimulus for those muscles so that they don't ever get into a routine. And I think that if we compare that to teams, you know, if we keep doing the same thing over and over with our teams, you know, while it's good to get them regimented in certain things, sometimes it becomes fatigue because we're just doing it over and over again the same exact way. So
I agree.
Tell me more. Keep going, Bill. I love what you're saying. Give us a little more.
I can refer back to when I did coach basketball. Yeah, you had to mix up your practices. By the way, you know, you don't do the same scrimmage that you know, same routine in scrimmage or whatever. Give them a chance to do the shoot around because I always said Larry Bird did not become a great shooter because he'd go and he'd be the first person there shooting thousands of shots before anybody else got there. So if you're going to be a good shooter, you got to keep doing doing that, you can't get that rhythm while you're just playing. You're doing a scrimmage. That's I actually had an old dispute with my high school coach. We had my junior year, we had a guy who was so good. He actually went to coach pro, and I patterned my style after him. And when our new guy came in, and I'm like, wait a minute, we're not doing this right, and we need to have a chance to get practice. Just not somebody guarding you or ever running scrimmages. So you mix things up, and you have to listen to your team to get the best out of them. And sometimes you got to let them not succeed to try at something, and then they come around to see what your point of view is. Maybe that is right. So listening, becoming good there. So that's a little bit off topic from the working out, but let's take this to when I was working in a gym, and I did train some people. They were resistant to some of the ideas. I'm like, okay, let's see what you want to do. Give them that little rope. Then say, hey, this framework will probably work better for you. And I love it because Scrum, even any kind of project management, it is a framework. It is not a set of rules that you have to check every single box off. It's foolish to do that. You have to figure out what is going to work the best for. And yeah, in my personal life, I've known many people I've asked, and they said they hated retrospectives. Never get anything out of them. I'm like, that is the most important part. Because if you're not going to learn from the mistakes, I can compare development people to some of the financial advisors I worked with when I first broke into the business, and try to help them. The egotism and arrogance sometimes, because they think they know every single thing. They're identical. I mean, there's personality-wise, I was like, wow. And they're like, no, they don't want to be able to be told. They think they know it all. So you have to find that way of getting through. And each person is a little different. You have to figure out personality styles. So I think the best way of doing that is by giving a little rope and then nudge. So there's always a little salesmanship in there in any project manager role. I think it's underscored, underdeveloped. Like, you have the ability to influence is the ability, is selling. You're always selling. I don't care what position that you are in, you are selling. If you are that development person, or if you're that person in the gym that I'm teaching, if you're not buying what I'm teaching, I'll give you a little rope and kind of nudge you my way. But they're selling me that they won't want to follow. You pitch the benefits, you give them a nudge, they can follow back. And with the more credibility you have as an expert, and the more that you do it, the more that they'll just start to listen. Like, you are obviously an expert and a great mentor to me. I've taken some of those attributes that I pick up from listening to you, and I just pass those along.
And, I was just about to ask you, Bill, I was going to say, give us a closing thought, something that we can end on, something that would empower others or uplift others. And I think you just did that. That, in life, we need to take the best of what we see. That, we're in a world right now that's filled with cynicism and with people who are arrogant, or with people who feel like entitlement is part of what's going on. There's lots of upheavings and different things going on, societal uproar. And I think that if we walk through life and we look at what's best in people, and we try to pull those one or two attributes like you described, the things that we want to emulate, the things that we feel best about, and we look for the good in people, that it's going to make the world a better place. And Bill, you by far, my friend, are an expert in this topic. I can tell you that now. And I've enjoyed spending this time with you. I want to say thank you for being amazing, and thank you for your contribution to the Agile community. We're going to try this again with some more topics and different things, and we'd love to invite you to come back another time and share a different topic with us, perhaps in a few weeks or so, if that's good with you.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks.
I have plenty of things I think I can share. I think
Absolutely.
You'll find very interesting.
And we'd love to have you. So thank you, Bill, for being with us on this first edition of AgileDad University Vlog. We hope that you've enjoyed it. As always, we encourage you to visit agiledad.com, where you can learn more about this topic and any other topic. And if you want to reach out to Bill, what's the best way for people to get in touch with you?
You got me off guard with that one.
Email?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Oh, well, yeah, we can hear you. Email?
Emails, I got my Agile Financial at Outlook.com.
There you go. That's probably the
That's what
best one. So Agile Financial at
yeah.
Outlook.com. And let me tell you, if you
Yep.
have questions regarding, Agile in general, Agile financials, if you're working in a financial institution, you want some Agile input, Bill's a great reference and a great person for you to reach out to. And you can see he's chugging that water down. So he's trying to get that physical fitness thing in place too. That's something that I need to work on. So thanks again for being here. And as always, stay healthy, stay well, and stay agile, my friends. Take care.